I let my tape rock to my tape pop. I let my tape rock to my tape pop. I let my tape rock to my tape pop. I let my tape rock to my tape pop.
There's simply nothing like the beat hitting you in the face. The kick drum resonates, your lips wrinkle and inflate. We in the zone, I'm on a level you can't imitate. Nod your head, throw your hands, I'm here to initiate. Whole style is handed down from the rawest of legends. It's hard to remain at the top, but I'm top two, never second. Boss called.
Hey guys, welcome to the lab. We are back with another episode of Sundaze with the Clink Room. We're joined today by Ryan Simmons Animation. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Doing awesome. How are you?
Good. Thank you for taking some time out to join us for this episode of Sundaze with the Clink Room. Really excited to have you kind of aboard and have the Clink community kind of get to know you a little bit better and kind of run through some really exciting releases.
Yeah.
Just so that that the people can kind of understand your background, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your journey as an artist?
Sure. I started out in the animation industry, actually. My dad was working as an animator in a studio, and this is back when it was like a light box and paper and pencil, and you flip the paper back and forth.
Right.
And they were working on a movie, and he's like, hey, we need animators. How about I bring you home a couple scenes and see if you can do the in-between drawings? Because the way it works is there's keyframes, and then to make it smooth, you got to fill in the in-between. So I was, being an in-betweener, basically.
Wow.
And so I did that, and they shot him, and they're like, you can have a job. And I was like, but I didn't go to school, and I don't have a portfolio. And they're like, that's cool. You can do the work. So you're in. I was like, okay, this is awesome. So
Nice.
yeah, so I started out at Turner Feature Animation. I worked on a movie called Cats Don't Dance, which most people don't know. And then from there, I went to Warner Brothers.
Okay.
I worked on The Quest for Camelot
and
The Iron Giant. So
nice.
And then after that, I went to DreamWorks, and I worked on The Rodell Dorado and Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. And then at that point, I started to get into digital animation using my computer, and I've been doing that ever since. So, yeah, I'm still in animation. I've done some 3D animation in the past, and just stumbled into this logo thing a couple of years ago. It seems this is going to sound like wrong, but it seems easy to do a logo because you only have to do one drawing. Coming from animation, you have to do so many drawings of the same thing. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, one drawing and I'm done. Cool. This is easy. I mean, there's more to it than that, but it's I'm used to doing way more work.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. My good friend Johnny is in animation. I guess he creates the in-betweens. So like if there's like a shot, I don't know, like a 3D animation, there's like a shot, or even he even does commercials. So like there's a shot, and then the beginning and the end and the in-between, he makes sure that it's smooth somehow. Yeah. I don't know. He works for Paw Patrol and different studios and stuff like that. He tried to explain to me a couple times. I don't really understand it too well, but it sounds like it's kind of similar to what you do. So
3D can be very technical, but it can be just as creative. So
yeah,
the only thing I found is that like when you're doing 2D animation, which is what I do, you're only limited by your drawing ability. So if you want to have like a guy dancing and like bob his head like this, you just scale it up and scale it down. When I was working in 3D, I wanted to have the guy dancing do that, and there was no controls to do that. And so I went back to the guy who rigged it. He says, oh yeah, we have to completely redo this thing in order to give it bones so that it can do that. And I was like, wow, this is so technical, Wow. But it's still fun. It's creative.
That's crazy. What initially drew you to the Clink Room? How did you become aware of it?
So I've been on Pinterest since like 2009, and I just have all these boards of logos and character designs, crazy stuff that inspires me. And one of the things I saw was Phil's logo, the Oys of Summer.
The Oys of Summer, yeah.
Yeah. So it's got that Jewish guy with the locks, and he's like swinging like a baguette or something. And I was like, wait, is this like a new minor league team? This is awesome. So I clicked the link, and then I went to. That's how I found the Clink Room initially.
Right. Cool. Are there any specific themes or concepts that kind of inspire you with like the Clink Room designs?
I like stuff that tells a story, or stuff that's not, like traditional, not typical,
Right.
I like sometimes things that are opposite, playing with opposites a lot. Yeah, and just because I'm from animation and I grew up watching Disney, anything that has a great character design, I'm gonna love that stuff.
Yeah, I noticed one kind of theme for your work is that you always have really dynamic lighting. It seems like for a lot of your designs, so it's either coming from multiple sources, or if it's coming from one source, then it's really dramatic. But I always find that your designs kind of have that extra kind of punch of just cool lines and colors, and really kind of stand out. I think that's kind of becoming your trademark, at least for me when I see your art.
And that comes from my animation background, because I was in the effects department, so I helped animate everything that moved that's not the character. So it was water, fire, mud, magic, and tons of like rim shadows, rim lighting, shadows, cast shadows. So it's like something I've done for years, and I just add that stuff. It makes it more visually interesting.
Nice. Can you take us through your process? Like what do you look for when you're working on your design? Are you thinking of a name first, or your name last? Like where do you kind of land the plane on putting a design together?
Yeah, definitely the concept first and then the name afterwards. I've been known to sketch out a design and then show it to all my kids who are, teens and 20s now, and say, what's a good name for this? So my one son came up with the Ginger Shred Man, the one I did for Christmas, of the little guy doing a trick on a cookie skateboard.
Yeah.
But I usually have the concept in my head, and then I'll just work it and sketch it and just refine it. And I work digitally, so I'll just lasso stuff, move it, scale it, whatever. And then I'll usually go to color, because I want to see this thing, like what it would look like done. So then I'll just start coloring, and I'll go back to Pinterest, and I have like a whole board called Great Colors, and subcategories within that: futuristic, earthy, dramatic. And I'll say, oh, this one, maybe some orange and green would look good. And then I'll do it, and I go, nope, that looks terrible. Usually the first couple I think are going to work are just terrible.
Right.
But yeah, I've shown some to Casey that are just rough with the color, and I mock it up with the hat, and he's like, that's awesome, send it to me. I'm like, oh, this isn't done. I haven't cleaned this up. I just want to see if you think it's worth finishing,
Right.
But that's kind of my process. I kind of like take it as far as I can to see if I'm in love with it. That's
awesome. Yeah, that's one thing that's really unique about working with someone like Casey, just with years of experience, and kind of just is really accessible and kind of give you the art direction and kind of push you. I don't think there's many people that are like in that position or really helpful like that in general. So it's kind of awesome to have him just be accessible.
Yeah, and he's a great artist in his own right too. So yeah. When he gives advice, you listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of your work and your designs, is there a particular one that kind of sticks out to you that's more meaningful to you? Do you ever pick favorites?
Yeah, I have some I like more than others. I think the one I'm currently really excited to get, should be next month, is the koi fish logo. Mm-hmm. That one was an interesting challenge that Casey gave to me, and I did one iteration of it and it didn't hit the mark, and then I did the one it's at, and it was like, oh, that one works. And it's just fun to play with the different levels, the ripples on top and the fish, and then there's like a shadow underneath.
The shadow, yeah.
Yeah. So that was a challenge, and I'm just so used to like looking at hats and thinking like sports logos. You know, it's got a big thick outline around it. There's a guy swinging a bat or whatever, and so that the koi one was interesting because it was like, first of all, can I figure this out? But second of all, is this like gonna be cool on a hat? Are people gonna like that? You know?
Yeah.
I've probably been around like the Clink Room around 2 years, but I've definitely seen a shift in the type of art that's being submitted. It used to be more like it looked like variants of minor league teams, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really changed a lot. It's way more artsy now,
Yeah.
which I think is cool. And it's not, everything isn't just the typical, you know, stuff you'd see on a ball team.
Yeah, definitely. I think like right now, the kind of art style that's getting played up now is just like crazy hyper detailed and really good storytelling.
Yeah.
And just really specific types of art. Whereas before, yeah, you're right. I feel like it was either like typical like stances, like baseball stances, or plays on existing things. So it's real cool, and you know, and now it's like the level of the puns are just like so crazy. So it's like really smart art. So yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Like Lamageddon.
Yeah, exactly.
Things like that. Yeah. I love it when the artists are not only talented, but they're clever as well. Makes it more fun.
Yeah. So it's like really, really, rich work. So it's not just, you know, oh, this is something cool that I thought of. What are some of the challenges you face kind of as an artist, specifically like in the context of like creating designs?
My challenge is, because I come from that animation background, that I focus a lot on the poses. But when it comes to cleaning them up, everything I clean up to me just looks like, oh, that just looks like an animation style with a black outline on it. So I struggle with that. How do I get that big, thick, blocky sports logo feel to it that I want to put on it? And I try, and I'm like, I can't get this, you know? So it's been good to collaborate with others and stuff like that. But that's been something I've been studying a lot. You know, like I said, on Pinterest, I have a whole board all about with logos. I can look at them for reference. Like, how does this person, you know, define hair on a lion, you know, so it looks kind of sportsy and in shadow, but not hyper detailed, you know? So that's one of the things I still struggle with. But if I can hit the pose, like the pose is so important to me, because in animation, they tell you everything has to look good in silhouette. So you wouldn't just have a guy like this aiming a gun. You would do it, you know, so that it's like, I can't get it on screen, but like, so it's up and it's like clear, so that even if it was blacked out, you could say, oh, that's a guy holding a gun aimed that way, versus like this, if you put it in silhouette, people aren't going to tell what's going on. So that's one of the things that's like in my brain all the time.
Right.
Which is like, get a good silhouette going. And then when I hit that, I'm really happy. And then I'm like, oh no, and now I got to clean it up and see if I can get that big, thick line on it that looks good.
Right. That's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Who are some of your favorite artists or designers? It could be either within the Clink Room or even outside of them.
Yeah. Jacobo, for sure. He's amazing. That guy he's got it all down, and he's very clever as well. Different art sources. I like comic books. As you can see back there, there's a poster. I hate Fairyland Nuts. Scotty Young, he's amazing. He's just got these big, thick, bold outlines, and the colors are amazing. Someone else does the colors, but I also like the old Asterix, the Gaul comic book. It's from France. Okay. It's not very widely known, but that's good. Really good poses and expressions and stuff, and that's something I like to I grew up watching Disney movies like crazy, so that's influenced my style a bunch. I also grew up collecting Garbage Pail Kid stickers, those cards.
Nice. Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was an adult, I'm like, these are like little mini works of art. Like, because they're hand painted and they have just like these amazing colors and stuff. And I think like that has influenced my style as well. That things need to be vibrant and pop and be as dramatic as you can get, you know, to get that shock value or whatever, you know. But yeah, just kind of a variety of sources. Just I'm on Instagram, I'm on Pinterest all the time, looking at, you know, comic book art, how people play with shadows, colors, stuff like that. So it's a variety of sources for sure.
Yeah. Do you do anything other than like what following comics and stuff like that, but like to keep up with certain trends or certain types of influence?
I should say yes. I don't know. It's like whatever comes up in my feed that I like, you know, I'll start following somebody when it gets recommended to me. But yeah, I don't set out and say, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. I just kind of get fed whatever I get fed visually, and I'll no, that post was crap, or I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that, you know.
Fair enough. Are you a sports guy at all? Yeah,
I love baseball.
Okay.
I'm a Dodgers fan. I know I'm going to upset somebody out there with that, but yeah, I grew up and was indoctrinated or brainwashed to be a Dodger fan. My grandparents would take us there on all the days that they have the freebies for the kids under 12. So I got watches and pins and hats and trading cards. Nice. Yeah, so I follow baseball, and then I play pickleball a lot. I played that for 6 years, so yeah, I like to do that.
Nice. Pickleball is like growing up, like blowing up exponentially. Like it's so popular now.
Yeah, and here in my state in Utah, it's huge. It's massive. Yeah. So yeah, it's good because there's always somebody to play with. You know. That's
awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Do you have any advice for some of the aspiring artists kind of looking to either collaborate with the Clink Room or just get started with the world of art?
I would say just draw and put stuff out there and get feedback. When I started my animation career back when I was 21, I felt like all I could do was just those in-between drawings. It's like, I have this one and I have this one. Okay, that tells me what to draw. And I really wasn't confident in my abilities at all. But back then, if you would have told the 21-year-old that, you know, at this age, that my art would be on hats and people would be purchasing, I'd be like, no, there's no way, you know.
Right.
I would say be patient with yourself. Because I always see the flaws in everything I do. Like, I never hang up my own art because I'll just sit there and go, oh yeah, I should have fixed that, you know. But yeah, be patient with yourself and just keep at it and just keep looking and studying other people's stuff that you like and just soak it all in and then try to incorporate it. So like this one, I got the different lighting like you talked about, but there was that one that hat by Noble North with the Sasquatch. Do you know that one where he's got the axe and the moon is in the background?
Yeah, he's got the little lantern.
Yeah, exactly. That one inspired me. And I'm like, oh, wow, look what you can do with the lighting and the stitching and stuff like that. So, I mean, stuff like that is, you know, if you can find stuff that really like speaks to you, you know, do your version of it and learn from it.
That's awesome. How important do you feel like community engagement is in your creative process?
I think it's really important. I think that, you know, I'll design something and I'll show it to my wife and kids, and they're like, yeah, that's cool. Or they'll be like, meh, you know, or they'll be, wow, that's cool. Yeah. But showing it to other designers or people who value, you know, art on hats, their opinion matters even more, because it's like, wow, if they think it's good and they would know whether it's bad or not, you know, then you can say, oh, well, this is awesome, you know. Mm-hmm. It's hard too, because like sometimes you put it out and you get feedback like, oh, you should have done these colors, should have done that. And my thing personally is I'm like, oh, but I'm done. Like I'm done. I don't want to go back and rework this. I've reworked it like crazy, you know.
Right.
But that's something that, I mean, in my professional work, I deal with that all the time. Like, hey, make this change, make that. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, you know. But I think that's something I could be better at, which is like if somebody says, hey, this one part just doesn't work, be like, yeah, you're right. Let's fix that, you know.
Yeah. How do you connect with the audience and fellow artists? Like, do you have any people you specifically trust or work with?
I just I love, you know, having, you know, private messages with individual clinkers and designers or just fans, and you know, just seeing what they think, what they like. I appreciate that. I like when people, you know, feel strongly about something enough that they want to reach out to you and tell you or ask you something. And I think that's very valuable. Again, you know, being in being in the studios back in the day, you're surrounded by artists and creatives all the time. And so now I like work at small studios, and there's just a couple creatives, and so I think being able to message somebody and say, hey, what you did was really awesome, you know, or vice versa, I think that's really valuable to me. So just little chats and little positive messages, comments when somebody posts something like saying, hey, I love this logo, I'll never wear this color, but you know, the art is amazing, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I interact with others.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you for doing that. Let's get started with kind of the festivities right now. So this week, Clink dropped a Fresh Colorways drop, and they called this one Magic. So let me pull it up here for you. This time we got 5 different colorway. So five different hats. All the themes are, I guess, magic, and all colorways are completely different. So cool little drop here. So we'll cover the first 3. Make Your Own Luck by Clinker Aaron. That was a Clink Vision alumni hat, I guess. Lion Star by Taxican, and Voodoo Souls by Joel. Do you have any initial thoughts here?
They're all so different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one on the ends are both symmetrical. The one in the middle isn't, you know. And when I see these, I instantly think, oh, what were the original colorways? Because I usually can't remember. I know the cat one was all black,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the Voodoo maybe had green or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like a funky, like a green and purple. I think like kind of like the typical like Voodoo, New Orleans type colorway.
Yeah. I think all of these are great. I mean, the cat one is awesome because you look at all the details, and it just has all these little icons that, you know, kind of tell their own story. The lion is awesome because it has the constellation in it.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
And the Voodoo Souls is awesome just because it tells a story, you know, and it's creepy.
Were you a wrestling fan in the 90s?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, all right. Because Voodoo Souls reminds me of I forget his name, but basically the Godfather. His name was the Godfather, but he becomes like a character like that later on.
Mm-hmm.
And then this colorway really reminds me of that character. The original one kind of did, but it was in such like a funky green and purple that it didn't. But this one really reminds me of that character.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure people are screaming his name in the
comments right now.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I'm always gonna have a soft spot for Make Your Own Luck because we did a short series with Casey and Views from the Vault that was called Clink Vision, and that hat got birthed on that show where we kind of assigned concepts to artists and we crowdsourced the colorway. It was a really fun thing to do. That one though kind of sticks out because he had put a lot of like violent things in it.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And then it had to get delayed, and it took freaking forever to come. So that's the hat that showed up like way last, but it's still such an awesome piece of art that Aaron put together.
Yeah, my oldest son has that one in black,
Yeah, so
He
good.
loves that
So
one.
good. And I hope that the first two are have glow in the dark. I'm pretty sure they would. But those like little extra details and glow just make that hat kind of pop off extra.
Yeah.
All right. And then the next two, we got Toxic by 341 tattoos. It looks like there might be some hidden glow in the dark on the skull as well. And then Bad Omens by Josh Voles. You have any initial thoughts on these two?
Well, the new colorway for Toxic is awesome. I love that. That I don't know what that is. Turquoise color. That's
It's
awesome.
like an aqua, almost
Aqua,
like
yeah.
the Florida Marlins style colorway, the old school Marlins.
Yeah, because wasn't the original? It was like pretty vibrant. Had like some like neon green in it or something like that.
I
can't
think
remember.
so. There's been so many freaking hats. So the original one looks like it's just black.
Oh, just black.
and-
Okay.
Black and gray, like all black with gray. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
when you hit the glow in the dark, the eyes glow, the outline glow, and then there's a biohazard sign on his skull.
Awesome. Oh yeah. That's cool. And it has a skull. Like anything with the skull is gonna sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's a good one.
All right, and yeah, Bad Omens, kind of like that fortune teller
Mhm.
style guy. So I don't know. Maybe it is glow in the dark. That's like kind of like the thing that links all of these. Because
Under the magic theme.
yeah,
Could be.
let me check real quick. Bad Omens.
Yeah.
Does this thing glow? No, this one doesn't. But
I like the new colors for it though.
yeah, the original one. Let me see here.
It was like purples and greens, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I just had it up and I forgot already.
Now it's all American, red, white, and blue.
Yeah, the original one looks like it's like a lava red with a green under, but that one did glow in the dark. So maybe this one does. So like that white in the cloud behind them, and then
Yeah.
there's like a skull and crossbones in the crystal ball,
Oh yeah.
and then the cross. There's a cross in that little turban.
There's a lot of details in there I didn't notice.
Yeah, really cool work, man. Josh packs in the detail with his stuff, but yeah, really cool little release they did here, and we'll get into the last call. So these 6 next designs are up for pre-order, and they end at midnight Eastern tonight, and they'll be sent to production after. So we got Movie Night, Sink or Swim, and Amurica. Again, elite pun work from Seamus. But what are your thoughts here? There's a lot of blue in these 3 hats.
There is a lot of blue.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll start with Amurica.
Yeah.
Again, I think that's what we were talking about before, where there's no outlines on anything. It's not your typical sports logo, but it's just so well done with that origami look. But then they put the flag in there somehow, and I love that the one star is the eye as well.
Yeah.
It's really clever. It's really good. Yeah, that one's awesome. And then Movie Night is just fun. And the thing, I don't know if this is on purpose or not, but the little tape reel, it makes it look like it's the mouth.
It's the mouth. Yeah, for sure you did it on purpose.
Yeah, I love that. And it's open. It looks like he's about to eat some popcorn.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then Sink or Swim, that's pretty cool. It kind of tells a story, doesn't it? Where, if it's this ship's already underwater and maybe the shark's eating some people from it or something like that. So yeah, it's smart that it's on a blue hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing with Movie Night is it makes me feel really old because we like lived through that era and many eras after. So like after that would have been the DVD era, then the Blu-ray era, and now we're into like streaming where no one owns anything physical. It's all digital rights. But it's nostalgic. It's kind of got the blue and yellow. Reminds me of like the Blockbuster kind of colors and stuff like that. Because I'm a glasses wearer, I can't stand the 3D bullshit glasses. But as a design, it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, even as someone who doesn't have to wear, doesn't have a problem with like seeing 3D movies, I've noticed that you put those things on. They're not the red and blue ones, but they're almost like sunglasses. I mean, they're
Yeah.
tinted. Like you're watching the movie, almost like you're wearing sunglasses. Like it's kind of darker overall, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
glad
not
that
bad.
trend never stuck though. The at-home 3D glasses that you had to put batteries in and charge them, and whoever watched it had to have their own pair. Like I'm just glad that never stuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the highlight of this 3-pack is America. Like,
Mhm.
it's the second origami he did. Follow up to the cash cow. So,
Yeah.
and then getting to know Michael and hear about his son Seamus. It's cool seeing them kind of work together to, release stuff. That's an awesome thing, like a father-son thing to do to pass time and all that stuff. So, I
Yeah.
always like to
That's
see
awesome.
that. All right, moving forward, we got the Flying Dutchman, Timber Tigers, and Knock Knock. What are your thoughts on these three?
I love the colors on Flying Dutchman. It's very ghosty. It's kind of similar to these colors, but
I was
it's
going to
ghosty.
say it's very similar. It's almost a follow-up, feels like.
Well, more than that, I mean, even if you never saw this hat, those colors just work. It's just, it's appropriate for it. But yeah, I think that's cool. I like Timber Tigers. The more I look at it, the more I like it. Just the composition's fun, running down the tree and then just having the leaves like kind of making a circle around it is fun.
Yeah.
And then Knock Knock. See, I just love those heavy shadows. That's something that I need to work on, but it just gives it so much more depth, Like he's just coming at you with those shadows. It's really nice.
The Flying Dutchman is cool. It's like it's almost like you've mastered that kind of 3/4 pose with the swing. You had the clown, the Grim Reaper, and the pirate.
The pirate, yeah.
So he's kind of got that like pose down and the colorway with the kind of almost monochromatic picture. So that's cool to see. Like you said, like just someone else doing a take on that style. Timber Tigers is like a combination of two really cool European designers, right? So Milos out of like Serbia and Aurelian out of France kind of got together, and that's really interesting because you never really see the chipmunk from that point of view. So it's like a really cool picture. It's got a hidden maple leaf too. So me as a Canadian, I'm always cool with that. But yeah, just a really smooth design. Just turning like that, furry chipmunk into something that's kind of angry. Like Aurelian is like the king of angry stuff. He always has something that's angry, but like just having a little furry creature like that, just it's cool.
Yeah,
and then
I think I would love to have more. The logo's fine. It's just I don't know about the rim color. Like if it was like a dark orange or a maroon or something. Me personally,
even if you swap them, it could work too. Just have the darker color up top and then the lighter color on the bottom, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a Pittsburgh Pirates, the black with the
right,
yellow,
with the
which
red
I
under,
like,
right under,
yeah.
And then Knock Knock, Raphael just loves to do the animals.
Yeah.
Usually there's some type of shape kind of holding it in. This one's got the boarded up door. So yeah.
It would have been cool if there was like kind of like little splinters, like kind of around that arm that came out, like he's like bursting through.
Yeah.
I mean, it works as is.
It's kind of like the big bad wolf, but he just skipped the blowing your house down part and he just went right into it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. And then we have the shock drop. So this shock dropped earlier in the week, completely sold out. But yeah, awesome. The Clinker series is continuing. Do you prefer the shock drop, or do you like having like multiple ones drop so that you can score the one you want. Because I feel like anytime they do a shock drop, they almost always end up selling out.
That's a good question. I wonder if they did like the ones we just looked at, just like one a week, if that would influence the sales at all, because it would be like, oh, maybe seems a little more rare if it's just one versus, I don't know. That's marketing. I don't have no clue about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I just draw pictures, man. Yeah, I think the shot drops are cool because it seems novel and it's like, ooh, I got to get this,
Right,
and the word
right.
shock too makes it sound like, hey, this is happening right now, Yeah, that's a cool hat.
Yeah, definitely. Funny story though. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be giving this information away, but when Casey had them all six of them, so there's 3 Clink word marks and 3 Kongs. I guess he had felt that it was too similar to drop them all at once.
Oh yeah.
So then he kind of called an audible and ended up dropping them all like one by one, which I think works in the advantage of the collector a little bit, because like now for the people who want them, normally you'd want all 6 because they're just like, it's such a like Clink staple. So having them spread out actually, is a little bit easier on your wallet, to be honest.
Yeah,
so,
you may end up buying them all, but not all at once. And so
yeah, because definitely if you drop them all at once, that's a big ticket. But like if you drop them every couple of weeks, it becomes a little bit more palatable on your wallet. So I don't know. It's an interesting strategy because you never seen it be used directly by the Clink Room. When they did a couple collabs with the like Hat Club, they would release a couple one-offs and stuff like that, but that was more like Hat Club strategy. But yeah, it's cool to see him kind of tinker with what's available rather than just go with the the generic 6 pre-order and then have everything delivered like that.
Yeah. It's
right.
working. That's great.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this didn't last more than a day. I saw it sold out pretty much the next day when I was scrolling on Instagram. I saw that it was sold out. So
yeah, the only way to get it now is to go to eBay and pay over $100 for it, right?
Yeah,
someone reselling it.
Don't do that. There's more coming. So, all right. So let's get into the crits portion. Hat number 1, Win Studios back. Cardinal Direction. What are your initial thoughts on this one?
That's cool. I like it. Is there a meaning behind the phrase cardinal direction?
I'm literally Googling that right now.
We're like, we don't know.
I'm like, we should figure it out. All right. So the 4 cardinal directions or cardinal points are the 4 main points of the compass, north, south, east, west, commonly denoted. Okay. So there's 4 of them, and I guess he's facing east.
Yeah.
But yeah, cardinal direction.
I like it now that I know that it has the meaning behind it, and just he does a really good job of illustrating like the feathers and having everything be swirly and everything. And even like right in his face, he's got just the whiter, I don't know, looks like a highlight. It's
on the
really
part.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. It's well done. It's very professional, This is
he's solid.
Yeah, it's really good.
I almost feel though, as a cardinal, he's lacking a bit of black, maybe in his face a little bit. He almost looks like a red blue jay to me. But like the way it looks though, immaculately drawn. Just really solid.
Yeah, I don't know my birds well enough to to correct it or not. Yeah,
I only know I learned most of my animal taxonomy through like sports. So normally, like the cardinal will have almost you can't even see the eye because it's surrounded by black, and then there's an extra like black around it. But just a majestic bird. Like if you didn't tell me it's a cardinal, you almost think it's like some type of hawk or something.
Yeah,
but beautifully drawn.
Yeah, sure.
And we learned something. So
yeah, it's nice.
All right. Moving forward, number 2, In a Pickle by Todd and Aurelian. So not a pickleball court, but in a pickle.
In a pickle.
Like, what are your thoughts here?
I like it. I feel like there's a lot of detail in the character itself,
Mhm.
and then the juice kind of coming out of it seems very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like, would have been nice if it had some kind of highlight or something with it. But oh yeah, okay, now I'm seeing it. Sorry, small on my screen. So he's got his hand pressed up against the glass.
Yeah, his hand and his face is kind of pressed up.
Yeah. I like it. It does feel like a little bit like two different styles because the character itself doesn't have any outlines, like any black line. But then the jar that it's in is all, kind of outlined, more graphic looking. But I like the concept.
Yeah. I would almost rather him just isolate that one pickle and then get more like kind of that pickle brine juice in there to just seem like he's just being slammed into the jar.
Yeah.
You just have the jar break open a little bit, and then you can have that pickle brine because like there's like that little drip at the bottom and the outline, but it seems like there's no juice within the jar. If that makes any sense.
And they might have put the other pickle in there just to make it feel more crowded.
Yeah.
There,
That's fair.
I think it's a cool concept. I think, style-wise, the jar and the pickle seem a little separate style-wise.
Yeah.
But I like that it's kind of at an angle because if it was this way, it'd be really tall.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't work.
So that's smart too.
Yeah, but it's definitely like minor league baseball team kind of theme-ish. You could see like this being worn by like a minor league team for like a theme night or something. But yeah, I love eating pickles. Like that's whenever I can, I'll just say extra pickles whenever I'm ordering food and stuff. So
you can have all of mine then.
Yeah, it's either love or hate. There's no in between. So
it's true. It's true.
Yeah, but yeah, awesome work. Let me see. Oh, this one's awesome. So, Keiru by Phil and Sawed Off Samurai. So Sawed Off Samurai is a big time collector. He always is ordering and supporting. So shout out to Steven. It looks like he teamed up with Phil, and we got this kind of like frog samurai with the tattoos. What do you think of this one?
I think it's fun. I just art wise, I love that back foot or the foot that's kind of bent like that. That's just really drawn well. I really like that. I think with the eyes, I think the fact that they put little shadows, the gray shadows, I think they'd be more intense if there was no gray shadow there. But I think it's fun. I love that he's in the little, I don't know what that's called that he's wearing.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it's like that sumo wrestler thing.
Yeah,
we're botching it for sure.
Yeah, I like it. And those are tattoos you're saying that are.
It looks like tattoos because he's got like the Japanese bodysuit on, so it's like like the little clouds, but then it ends at his feet. So all that black area looks like it's tattoos. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think if anything, you could maybe add like a cast shadow on the ground and maybe like the moon behind him and like some kind of castle or pagoda, or I probably have the wrong thing, but something more to tell a little story or something. But I mean, the character is pretty fun.
Yeah, I love the bold black thick outlines. I don't know if I love the really thin outer outline. And then it being that same kind of green doesn't offer a lot of contrast. I would think about doing that a different color, maybe some type of, like, I know there's no red in it, but like a red would really make it pop off, or even like a silver or white, just something other than the green, because I just feel like there's just a lot of green in there. But Phil has a great ability to just give like these cartoon characters just so much personality.
He's got a fun style. I think the outline, I think that outer outline is necessary for it to pop against the dark color of the hat, though.
Definitely. I would either thicken it or change the color, maybe both. But all in all, I think it's a great piece of art. This is really cool. It's, again, it looks like this could be even a minor league baseball team. He's got the katana and almost like a baseball pose, at least for the hands wise, not the leg. Obviously, that's very bad for him. But yeah, it's just a really cool and interesting piece here. I like it.
Yeah, it's a fun pose. If you that back leg and foot that I said I really liked, if like you were to cover that up, he's just kind of squatting there. Just having that leg out there just gives it like more action. Like
Yeah, exactly.
he's in the heat of battle. He's turning back like, oh yeah, you know.
Yeah, exactly. All right, great work, guys. Let's see, number 4. Sierra Gon's always testing my English or testing my pronunciation. Lord of Zabala. I butchered that. Apologize, but
I'm not going to correct you.
yeah, I'm gonna Google what this word means while you give me your initial thoughts, and I won't make you pronounce that.
No, I love the colors. I love the symmetry. I love the big, bold, thick lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot of fun. I love that the teeth come to like a sharp point. I think there's a lot of small details in the little eyeball necklace, though.
Yeah, the eyeball necklace is freaky, man. Freaky.
Who knows if that'll stay? But yeah, I think the bottom has a lot of detail with the eyeballs and then the mouth, and then this part of the mask or whatever seems kind of just open in big spaces versus down here it's kind of more detailed. So maybe either remove some of the detail down here or go back up and add some more like little veins in the leaves or some like little cracks or something within the mask or something.
Yeah,
but
maybe add some textures, maybe. Yeah,
exactly. But it's good. It's solid. I like it.
Yeah. All right, so I looked it up. This place is roughly translated as the place of fright. It's often the name of the underworld in Mayan mythology, ruled by Mayan death gods and their helpers. So
it's cheerful.
Yeah.
It's a happy little logo.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Even not knowing what it is, you kind of get the gist of it. But now that we do know, it makes it even extra cool. The necklace eyeballs, man. I haven't seen nothing like that since was Universal Soldier, where they collect the ears.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Sierra Gon's always bringing us different ways to learn about the different Mesoamerican, mythology and culture. Gotta love it. Gotta love the green, the turquoise, with the red kind of. That kind of brick Sedona red just stands out, and then that kind of beige. It's just really good color play. I think this is really solid. Not sure if those are like earrings or things on the ear. Not sure what those pieces are, but all in all, really, really nice piece of art here.
Yeah, it's very good.
All right, moving forward, we got Lab Tech by COD and Italuk.
I love the play on the word. It's a Labrador, right?
Yeah, Labrador Retriever.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that. So is he like floating?
I guess so. He's just doing science. He's got a little test tube, got a little name badge. Yeah, that's really interesting.
I love the colors. I love bright neon colors. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think. What does it say in his badge?
It doesn't say anything. You can't read it. It's just like it looks like a picture and a couple lines. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like it. I think it's fun. I'm not sure why he's floating, or maybe he's standing. I don't know. But yeah, I like the colors a lot. I think it's fun. He's holding that little beaker of something.
Yeah.
Might be cool if like the bubbles kind of like overlapped, like one overlapped in front of another, just to show some depth or something like that.
Yeah. There's just certain parts of it that almost look unfinished. Like his eyebrows are black, and then his eyes are brown and his nose is brown, and then there's no real outlines in the or no real dark outlines in the jacket. They're kind of blue. So I think it kind of throws off the balance of it just a little bit, but the concept is there. I love the pun, and it's like a really interesting logo. But I think just certain things, maybe some certain color choices maybe changed a little bit. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you were saying some parts look different. I wonder if that has anything to do with it being a collab.
A collab, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. But two definitely really talented artists, COD and Italic. We got Dead Money. So Seamus and the Green One teamed up to expand the origami series. So Dead Money is here. What do you think of this one?
This one's harder to read than Murica, I think. Trying to, because it's dollar bills or whatever, origami.
Yeah.
Again, into a skull and crossbones. I love skull and crossbones. I think that a lot of the logo has lighter parts, and being against a light colored cap for me is making some of it harder to read. Probably when it's embroidered, it won't be a problem at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my only complaint, is that I can't. It's not clear what's going on right in here.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it. The thing I liked about the cow too is that you could say, oh, this part is folded over here, and then this, the faces. I can't really tell how it's done. It's creative though, that's for sure. It's ambitious.
Yeah. It's almost like an 8-bit piece of art almost, but yeah. I think I'm with you where you lose it gets a little bit muddy with it being against like a stone crown. One way you can kind of fight that is possibly like moving the skull down a little bit and then just expanding the size of it. That way you can not have so much of it just rest on the seam of the hat. But I do love the little bits of like filigree and the dark and the green, and this is really interesting.
I was just looking up skull and crossbones earlier this week for something, and there's this version where it's like the skull and the bones are below, and then there's one where like the skull is right in between the bones as well.
Yeah,
which might work. Maybe they tried it. Maybe it didn't work because of the shapes. Maybe it reads better this way for the bones. But it's definitely. I mean, that's a hard thing to pull off. Just
hell yeah. Let's
we're gonna
not
do
gloss over that.
origami, and then we're gonna use like money as the thing to kind of, and then you got to choose like what goes best here, which part of the bill. Like, it's super ambitious,
Definitely don't want to gloss over the fact, that this is a well-engineered piece of art. It looks great though. All right, moving forward. Yuki by Rafael. So he's doing another neon kind of design. I think he had one last week as well. Are you a fan of this style of cap?
I like it. I think if it's got the big thick embroidery, it'll big and round, it'll just look like neon. I think it's clever. I think it's going to look better embroidered than it looks now. It'll just really pop.
Yeah, I'm with you though. If it does embroider with that thick embroidery and have a bunch of negative space, I worry that it doesn't have thick enough lines for that, so he might have to cut out some details or move some stuff over and around. But yeah, it's a really cool hat. I know that there's a lot of pushback when it comes to yellow unders for people who have like kind of like more pale kind of complexions. That's something they don't really like. But other than that, I think it's a really cool design for sure.
Yeah, it's clever. Yeah. It does look like they're all the lines are the same thickness, but I think embroidery wise, you would have to like make or like the guitar strings, make them a little thinner so that it doesn't just all bleeding look clumpy.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I think it's clever. Again, it's putting a twist on things. It's, you know, taking this kind of this subject matter and then mixing it with neon. You know, you would never see that in a real neon sign. That'd be, well, maybe you would. It seems like it'd be really hard to do, but yeah, I like kind of crossover things like this.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Rafael, good job. Moving forward, we got The Monk by Clinker Matt. So Matt Bell, over the last couple of months, I feel like he has kind of brought over like different style of classes of like fantasy characters. So we saw like Necromancer and the Crusader and a couple other ones, and now we have Monk. So finally into his healing type character. What are your initial thoughts here?
The first thing that stands out are the hands.
Yeah,
I want them drawn more accurately, but that's just me from my my stickler animation background. And then I look at things like proportions, like the size of the hands compared to the feet, because I think overall it's good. I like the colors. I like that his eyes glow. I like that he's kind of underlit. So all that appeals to me. And then I start going in and looking at the little things like the hands and the relation to the feet and stuff like that. But yeah, I love how the necklace, the balls are rendered.
yeah,
It's really nice.
yeah. He's got a real cool light source. The outline is kind of different. We're not used to seeing that kind of flowy aura. Yeah.
Yeah, like part of me thinks it looks like shiver lines, like you see in comic books. But then part of it does look kind of magical and mystical at the same time.
Yeah, it looks like a combination of a lot of characters, like Professor X meets Akuma meets Dalsum. You know, like it's kind of like a mix of everything, but definitely interesting. And you know, it'd be cool to see him eventually come out with a huge series of stuff that like, you know, all ties into this kind of like fantasy video game he could be playing or something, you know.
Yeah, and as someone who loves lighting now, I'm looking at this, like the bracelets on the arm. They're like lit from this the center. What is that? Like a star or some kind of magical something is like hovering in front of him.
Yeah,
probably. And that's kind of creating the light source, and he's done a great job of putting that on the arms and the hands and the bracelet and everything.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving forward, we got Slasher Flick by Ryan and Dobie One.
Dobie One. That's cool. We were just looking at a popcorn movie one earlier.
Yeah,
with Sierra's. I think this one's interesting. I like that it's not just straight on. I like that it's kind of the side and up, which makes it more interesting.
are his legs crossed?
I don't know.
I think they are. That's a bit awkward.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, and there's a lot of fine detail in that movie strip. All those little dots coming down. That could be problematic. I think maybe the popcorn looks a little bit too big compared to the movie reel. Maybe it could be scaled down and the movie reel be bigger.
Yeah, I almost feel like you don't need the batch of popcorn. You could just get away with a couple like stray pieces.
Yeah.
And then the little swoosh of the film kind of feels a little awkward because it's coming off of the circle and then it swooshes the other way.
Well, yeah, and you can't see where it's connected to it either. It's being covered up. So that would have been nice if it was clear.
But it's an awesome concept. Maybe would have angled the, like, I'm just nitpicking right now, but like maybe angle the axe a little bit more towards the viewer instead of just kind of holding it flapping down. But I think the concept's cool.
Yeah.
Slasher flick, like it's there. It's just some little details. I think it's drawn really nicely. Just, you know, a couple little things here and there, a couple little tweaks, and I think that will bring it to like a 10. You know?
Would New Era allow you to put blood on that axe?
Probably.
Yeah.
They don't really like it when you're like using it. I think it's like when you're like using it on someone. But then again, like they had a one where it was an executioner, I think back to Lane, and I think it was Aurelian, and he's actually in swiping down to kill someone. So yeah,
I think that'd be a good addition to have either a little bit of blood, or get rid of the popcorn and have him standing in a pool of blood. You know, just it's got reflections and stuff on it.
Yeah, or even a couple drips off the blade. You know, just a little bit. But yeah, this is cool, and I don't think I've recognized either of these clinkers, so it's cool to see some of that new blood in the system.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think this one definitely has potential. I think it could be made stronger by, like you said, changing the angle. Let's see where the film fits in, figuring out the feet. Maybe the popcorn's not necessarily adding some blood, but yeah, and then maybe the hat, we can incorporate some red or some colors from the logo into the hat itself.
Yeah, maybe a red under for the visor. Kind of break up that gray a little bit, but yeah, definitely a cool concept for sure.
Yeah.
And the last one, Ari Clifton is so he had one last week that I believe ended up going up for pre-order, which was the fan one,
the foam finger.
Yeah, fan for life, I think it was, or fan to the death, or either way. But like this is like that kind of same art style, but then done kind of like with the times with the Valentine's Day covered up. You got the I'm okay, and then the candy broken. I'm becoming a real big fan of this art style. Just like simple and will embroider beautifully. What are your thoughts on it?
I like it. I mean, I see it and I instantly get it. I laugh. It's like, I'm okay. No, really. It's yeah. I think I like that he put a shadow on it. I think it would have been more impactful if it was on the other side, if it was cast the other way, like a long shadow. But yeah, and maybe, I don't know, it looks a little thick in the top, like looking down that crevice. Maybe if it was, I don't know, I'm just nitpicking, but it gets the message across. I think it's fun. Maybe if you wanted to plus it, put a couple little, like if it was broken in half, have some little bits of candy next to it, you know, or something. Does that make sense? Debris, what's the word? Crumbs? I can't think of the word.
Yeah. Shards, maybe. Some shards of candy.
Something like that. Just show, it's like, yeah, I'm okay. And then you see it's a little bit messy around it as well, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I think it's fun. I like the colors too. I like the black hat with the pink under. It's really fun.
Exactly. I'm not going to hold it against the design, but these candies probably some of the worst tasting candies. The ones with the messages.
First of all, the Brax kind are gross. The other kind, they're just like pure sugar. I love those. But then you like pickles and I hate pickles. So
Fair enough.
I'll get you pickles for Valentine's Day. You get me this crappy candy. I'll eat it all day long.
Deal. You already know your way around Toronto and the surrounding area, so yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Well, that's the 10. We made it through, and we critiqued them. So hopefully, no one takes it too personally. You know, all this stuff is said with love and care. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good week. Clink wise, we had a great drop. Lots of glow in the dark. Shock drop that sold out, and 6 really solid designs that are going into production, and then a solid 10 piece. If you were to give you a prediction, how many do you think will make it through to pre-order out of these 10? Because last week I feel like there was a good number.
Yeah, there were like 5 or 6 that made it, I think.
Yeah.
And we're saying like 35% and up is the threshold, right? I think that's what Casey said in the past for voting.
I don't even know what the voting threshold is. I don't know how much it really has to do with it. I think like just make good art. Like if it's good, I think it has a chance. I think we've seen some ones that didn't do too well or made it through, and I think we've seen some that are opposite. You know, that did well in voting, and then for whatever reason we hadn't seen it. So
yeah.
But in terms of your gut feeling,
I hope that the I'm okay, the Valentine's one comes through.
Yeah,
I think that one's it's simple, and it just it pulls off the gag really, really well, and it doesn't have to be, overly designed. Even though I said add some shards or whatever,
Yeah.
not necessary. But I bet the Cardinal Direction.
Cardinal Direction. I'm silently gonna pull for the frog one. The frog one is real cool.
Yeah, that one was cool too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. You never know what people think, or I think it's funny too because you'll watch the voting, and things will start to, you'll see how popular things are. But sometimes you'll just read the comments, and people are giving tons of love to ones that aren't doing well.
Yeah, so you have to wonder if they're actually voting. Sometimes.
Yeah, or maybe I don't know. That's just something I've noticed. It's not an exact science, is it?
Oh no, definitely not. I think at the end of the day, if it ends up if it's good art, it's got a chance, regardless of how the crits goes and kind of how the voting goes. But hopefully, we're gonna start seeing more and more ones make it from crits right to pre-order, because it just shows you that the artists are kind of leveling up and submitting good stuff. So I feel like there's not a lot of changes that happen too, from the design from crit stage to pre-order stage. But then I haven't really researched it enough to really be an expert on it. But you've definitely been really good.
I think from my experience, anytime my stuff has gone through and then I compare it, I notice that it will get tweaked in ways that make it better for embroidery, stuff like that. But like if you were just to glance at it, you'd be like, oh, that's the same. But then as the artist, I scrutinize, I go, oh, I see what he did here. I can see why this got changed, So yeah, it makes sense. Sometimes it have to be changed.
Yeah, but you've been really, really generous with your time. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend some time on this platform. It's really cool getting to know you on a personal level, because always I think when you start putting or when you're able to start put a face to a name, it just becomes really easy to kind of get along with people. So glad to have you around. Been following you for a while, and do you have any closing thoughts or anything to say to the people before we take off?
I'm the one who animated all the little the Clink animations that you can use for stories.
Oh, awesome!
The little Kong dancing and all those. Yeah. So give Casey a lot more ideas, because I'd love to animate more of those for him.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure to use them in the stories when we promote this show.
Yeah.
But all right. For Ryan and Leon, we're out of here. Peace.
See ya.
The scars of African guards and Aztec weapons, I'm the lesson. Get it cracking, Nick's the guessing. The words whip corners and throw roundhouse kicks. Got your people running their desks trying to sound like this.
Brought to you by VFTV.